Firstly, if you got a filming job and that's why you're watching this video, congratulations, go you! And secondly, get a notepad and pen because there's a whole load of stuff that's going on today. This is one big, fat, juicy video and I do not want you to miss out on any of the sauce. This is things to know before working on set. Let's get it. And the first thing is NDAs. An NDA is a non-disclosure form and it's basically a contract that you sign that prevents you from sharing certain details of a project, mostly so that things don't get leaked before it's come out and that spoilers in films don't come out when you're filming something. And so there's a legal contract that you will have signed before you start filming to make sure that you don't do that. And if you do, then you'll get into lots of trouble. Now you should be sent this through your agent or given on set by an AD or someone who's part of the production team. Make sure that you read it carefully so that you know what you can and cannot share. You do not want to break your contract. Now, obviously, if you're filming something that's really exciting, you probably want to share it on social media that you're working, but just be smart about what you share and who you talk to. It can be really tempting to try and spill the tea on a production, but if you sign the line, you're legally bound to be. So just, try and find a way. Maybe you can be like, oh, I'm in this production, can't say what it is, or on set today. Like, find a way that doesn't share the details of what it is. There you go. Secondly is costume fittings. Now you'll probably have a costume fitting before you start filming on a separate day to try it on. And my advice to you is to just be really vocal about what is comfortable and what isn't. Do what you need to do. Walk around, sit down, turn around, do the splits, try and do some choreography to see if there's any problems. Lift your arms up, bend your knees. Sometimes you can feel a bit silly doing that, but if you have to move in your clothes, then you need to do those things to see if there's going to be a problem. So put it on and jump around. One costume fitting I had a black pair of trousers and it was fine when I tried them on, but then when it actually got to filming, I had to keep pulling them up in between takes. I had to try and find them and they actually had to put a pin in, learn from my mistake and do what you need to do to make sure it's comfortable. The third thing to know before getting on set is working with famous people. If you have the privilege of working with someone famous, just remember that they are working too, and they are probably going to be focusing on their performance and their work. I managed to get some film experience working on the film 100 Streets with Idris Elba, and I had one job. All I had to do was walk past him in some street scene. And I just kept looking at him all throughout. I was just like... every time, and I was just like, oh man, he's probably feeling really awkward. He was really kind and he smiled and said hello and stuff, and we shot it a few times. All I had to do was walk past him, and it's probably just really awkward for them when they're just trying to work and people are fangirling at them all the time. So don't be like me and just be professional and be like, hi, great to meet you, whatever, and then just get on with the thing. The fourth thing to know before getting on set is that there is a lot of waiting around. Bring a book or something you can get on with quietly. And some sets, they won't actually allow you to have your phone because they know that people are going to secretly film stuff and post stuff. And again, like with the NDAs, they don't want anything leaking out. So bring stuff that you can do that doesn't involve your phone. On one film set I was on, they actually put stickers over your camera so that you couldn't physically take any pictures. So you might not have your phone with you, so maybe bring a book, bring a board game, some good old-fashioned entertainment. Actually, it was quite nice to get to know some of the other actors when you're not all just on your phone. So think of it as an opportunity to be unplugged. Before you get on set, it may be really helpful to know that the director won't always have time to come and direct you in between takes. And it can kind of feel like you're on your own a little bit. So just be confident in self-directing. And if you aren't getting anything from anyone, just trust your instincts. Think about, where can I pull back? Where can I push a bit more? How can I regulate myself in that? And most of that comes down to your prep work, really. Knowing the story inside out, doing work on your character and the relationships that they have with other people in the scenes, all that acting stuff about breaking down your objectives. What does your character want? What tactic does your character use to get that? All that kind of stuff. Maybe you do a scene one way that you've rehearsed, but maybe it doesn't feel like it clicks with the other actor. But hopefully if you've done all that back work, you've got a little bag of other things you can draw from so that you can try and see how the other actor responds in that moment too. have those instincts in you and just try and be in tune with them, because you might not always have some direction from the director, which is, ironic. The next thing to know about being on set is that the script can change really frequently, and some projects use a coloured page system where each new version of the script is a different colour. So it might start out being white, the next one might be blue, and then green, and then orange, and so that way everyone knows if you're literally on the same page, and so that can be a system that you might not have experienced before, and so just have a heads up just in case there's any changes. They will of course tell you, and they will probably give you a new printout of the script if you're on set and something has changed. So make sure you know your lines, so that if something does change, it doesn't throw you off board and you can quickly make those changes on set just before you shoot. Number 7, outdoor shoots. If you're shooting outdoors, it's going to be cold. And just try and be prepared. Remember all the waiting around that I mentioned. Maybe ask ahead if there's a blanket or something that can keep you warm. If you're on a smaller budget set, sometimes I don't always think about that. And especially if you're on a student film set, I've done a few of those before and have been absolutely freezing. Someone thinks it's a good idea to put you in a mini skirt in the middle of February outside for many hours, and it's just really uncomfortable and you can't do your best work. For me, I get really cold. I do. My hands go freezing and then I clam up and I can't relax and do my best work. And so sometimes I've taken a hot water bottle to set and found like a local cafe or pub or something to fill it up, because it's just absolutely freezing. One thing that I have actually started doing a lot more is actually wearing thermals underneath my costume if I'm outside. Find something that is really warm but you can put underneath your costume and can't be seen. Marks and Spencer's do a really good thermal range, their heat gen range I think it's called. I'll put a link to it in the description below, and that can just really help, as again, like I said, you can just relax and do your best work if you're not shivering. And another thing with outdoor shoots as well, especially if you're shooting in Britain, is the weather. We all know what British weather is like. And sometimes if there's a cloud coming or whatever it is, you have to just wait. And I've never experienced that before. So when I got on set and there was someone with an actual telescope looking to the sky being like, there's a cloud in 3 minutes. I had never experienced that before. And so that might be a thing where you just have to wait around for like a cloud to go. So that could be a thing if you're shooting outside the elements. The next thing to know before you get on set is that you will probably start very, very early. The thing that you are racing against is daylight. That's the resource that you're working with. So get lots of rest and get to bed really early, because you might be up at 4 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, whatever it is, to get to set so that you can start filming as soon as possible. So just make sure that you can clear your schedule and get to bed early, which I know sounds really granny, but trust me, you don't want to be on TV with bags under your eyes because you thought it was a good idea to stay up late. The next thing to know before you get on set is that rehearsals, especially for someone who's come from theatre, is actually really different. And I think the more you prepare beforehand, the easier it's going to be for you. You probably won't have very long to rehearse. And depending on the project, you may rehearse separately or you might actually do it just before you shoot. I've experienced both, where you just are in a rehearsal room somewhere and you go about rehearsing the scene, but then actually when you get on set, a lot of it changes because there's furniture in the way or the other person's all the way over there or whatever it is. And so sometimes on some film sets, you will just film just before you shoot, and that's helpful for some people, and for other people it can throw you off. So just be aware that that might be something that happens. So just check out what it is that your project is doing. If you're shooting outside, the sound department will probably do what's called a Wildtrack, where you record the wildlife around you, the surroundings around you, whether that's a busy road or if you're in a forest or wherever it is. And so you'll just have to be really quiet, don't make any noise, so that they can get that ambient sound, so that they can put it in the post-production to make the sound seem realistic to the setting that it's in. Obviously, when they say they're going for a Wildtrack, that's what they mean they are doing, and so don't make any noise. Don't be that person. And the last thing about working on set is the screening. When it comes to actually seeing the final product, it is nerve-wracking. Like, I don't think there's any way to get around it, especially when it's being put on TV and you're like just trying to watch it through your hands. Just know that the team will do the very best they can to make the work look as best as it can. So that's why you need to be focused on what you're doing on set. So hopefully these things can help you do that, to focus on your work, to know what's coming so you're not thrown off guard. So now you know what to expect when you're on set, which is great. Then in this next video, I go into detail about set etiquette. How should you behave when you're filming so you can boss at your next filming job? So check out that video and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.